the Substance, the new film written and directed by Coralie Fargeat, which stars Demi Moore, Margaret Qualley, and Dennis Quaid, which is coming to theaters on September 20th, and is probably the first big theatrical production from the streaming service MUBI. And this is definitely a wild ride, as you've probably heard by now. The story revolves around the aging Elizabeth Sparkle, who was a star of the TV screen and hosted a workout show. And as she is kind of being aged out of the job, she gets an opportunity to maybe relive a younger version of herself, which brings her to the use of the quote unquote substance, which changes things for the best, the worst. That's for everybody else to decide. But this is a body horror film. In essence, it's quite a wild ride. It is, at the most part, enjoyable for how absurd and crazy it gets for a film of 2024, because this is very much in a style of an old 1980s kind of B-grade, gory body horror film in the terms of Basket Case, let's say, just kind of bought into a more modern era. Now, a lot of people are going to probably say that this is Death Becomes Her crossed with so-and-so, and I would agree. For me, this is Death Becomes Her with a dash of John Frankenheimer's Seconds, and just a little tweak of the old sci-fi story by Theodore Sturgeon, The Other Celia. If you're familiar with that, I think you may know the one portion of this that I think kind of matches with that. And it is such an enjoyable film on a surface level because it does go so crazy, it does go so wacky. I think this is Demi Moore's possibly best performance ever. And I think it's wonderful that she is so willing to throw herself into a role like this, something that you may have not ever thought somebody of her caliber would be doing, or maybe would want to do. And going full bore in something like this, I think is a brilliant move from her. I love it. I'm so glad to see it. And it brings such more of a light to a film like this because she's so willing to do that. There are some issues, I think, where the fact that the film likes to play with its visuals so much, so it has these static camera shots. There are these very wide angle lenses. Then all of a sudden you have Dennis Quaid's, sorry, Dennis, rubbery face, um, basically just, kind of distorted from being so close up to this wide angle lens. And it's meant to be to make you disoriented, and it does feel that way, but it's probably the most horrific thing I would say in a film that has some pretty horrific things that go on through it. The film also, I would say, does suffer from, I don't know, I haven't coined a term for this specifically, but it suffers from the idea of not having its plot on the surface level match what it wants to portray on screen, because it has a lot of contradictions in its actions. In my way of not saying what these things are without giving away anything for somebody who hasn't seen the movie yet, there are characters at certain points that are so decrepit and disfigured that they can't even move their joints without forcing it to actually, to crack and move. And then 10 seconds later, they're basically having a superhero fight and running at full speeds beyond all common belief. So it plays much more into just what it feels is good for the screen at the time compared to actually solidifying itself in a proper story. That all being said, there is so much to love about it. There is so much to be questionable about it too. I mean, there are, I know times are different and everybody's different, but I would think that if I was dating somebody and went into their medicine cabinet that we seem to be sharing an apartment with for a long time and seeing these very strange tubes and medical devices that you just leave out there for anybody to find, not questioning what they are, is a strange thing. So again, it's that idea of the movie just kind of trying to be out there without thinking about how the rest of the pieces should fit in. But that all being said, I can't say I didn't have a blast. I can't say that there were not some laughs to be had, and some just glorious ridiculousness to enjoy. So with that, The Substance gets my final grade of a B. Thank you for joining me here, Matthew Shupman, on Cinema Daily US. We'll see you next time.